The publisher of the New York Times, Arthur Sulzberger Jr., just did his keynote speech. Everyone is outside, just at break time, talking about it,
warming
up, and taking a little break. What I thought some interesting points he made were the fact that he says we can't care if newspapers will be extinct.
Absolutely.
The second point is that they're in the information business, not the newspaper business.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if they want to survive.
And I think the fact, sorry, I didn't know if you were asking a question, but I think the fact that he was talking about would print exist in 10 years?
Yes.
And, his point that over the last 2 years, the numbers have actually gone up 250,000 in terms of their subscriber base.
Which is interesting
which is contrary to what you actually would have expected. Yeah. And also, I think there's something very calming of the way he talks about, so the amount of information that we get is so overwhelming, and how do you find a way to navigate that so that, one, you're getting it from the right sources, but also that you find a way to prioritize it so that you don't become, because it is what contributes. He's saying how now a small weather pattern becomes the storm of the century.
Yeah.
And it does create this sort of hyper fear, I think, atmosphere a little bit, because every single thing becomes so covered by so many different news outlets and so many different saturated. And so you end up, I think, getting an exaggerated sense of individual events. So that's sort of interesting too. Anyway, he was fantastic.
And you, can you introduce yourself and who you're with?
I am Courtney Nichols, and I'm the executive producer of 3 The Hard Way films.
Okay, so, and you stumped him. You asked a question during the Q&A. You were saying,
I think that's a very
what did you ask? What did you ask?
I asked him a question. So I'm making a documentary about water as the source of armed conflict, access to water. And so I was asking him if there was a way, or if there existed kind of an arbiter for the information that comes in terms of good investigative journalism. So I want to research something about water and conflict. Instead of having to look through the 500 links I get through Google Alerts, which is great that it's there, it would be great if there was a ranking in some way.
Well, relevance. There's, relevance.
Well, not just relevance, but actual good investigative journalism. So the point is, if there was a way to vet, here are the 2,000-word pieces that are really worth reading because these journalists really did their job. I don't know how that could exist, but that was my question to him, is there a way to create some sort of arbiter or filter so that the information, you're getting the top information. These are the 2 Pulitzer, written pieces about this topic.
And what did he say?
He said, that's a really interesting question. I don't know.
And maybe he'll give him an idea for something that they'll...
Maybe so. It'd be good if he could get on it now, because I'm trying to make this movie in the next 6 months. So it'd be good if he could come up with that in the near term.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much for your thoughts.
Thank you for giving us Arthur Sulzberger. It was pretty cool.